Hello and welcome back to Kim Reads. Let's continue with Dr. Seuss. Okay, so this story is If I Ran a Zoo. It's a pretty good zoo, said young Gerald McGrew, and the fellow who runs it seems proud of it too. But if I ran the zoo, said young Gerald McGrew, I'd make a few changes. That's just what I'd do. The lions and tigers and that kind of stuff they'd have out here now are not quite good enough. You see, like these things in any old zoo, they're awfully old-fashioned. I want something new. So I'd open each cage, I'd unlock every pen, let the animals go and start over again. And somehow or another, I think I could find some beasts of a much more unusual kind. A 4-footed lion's not much of a beast. One in my zoo will have 10 feet at least. 5 legs on the left, 5 more on the right. The people will stare and say, "What a sight!" The new keeper Gerald's quite keen. "That's the darniest lion I'd have ever seen." My new zoo, McGrew Zoo, will make people talk. My new zoo, McGrew Zoo, will make people gawk. Are the strangest of creatures that ever did walk. I'll get for my zoo a new sort of hen who roosts in another's hen's top knot, and then another one roosts in the top knot of his, and another of his, and another of his, and so on and upward and onward, gee whiz. Let's just start and do better than that. They'd see me the next day, my zookeeper's cat, coming in my zoo with an elephant cat. They'll be so surprised they'd swallow their gum. They'll ask when they see my strange animals come, where do you suppose he gets things like that from? His family all of such very odd places. I bet he must hunt them in rather odd places. And that's what I do, said young Gerald McGrew. If I want to catch beasts you don't see every day, you'll have to go places quite out of the way. You have to go to places no other can get to. You have to get cold, and you have to get wet too. Up past the North Pole where the frozen winds squeal. I'll go and hunt my ski-gull mobile and bring back a family, and then what do you know? And that's how my new zoo, McGrew Zoo, will grow. I'll hunt in the mountains of Zamba, Montana, with helpers who wear all their eyes at a slant, and capture a fine fluffy bird called the bustard, who eats only custard with hot sauce made of mustard. Also a very fine beast called the flustered, who only eats mustard with a sauce made of custard. I'll catch them in caves, I'll catch them in brooks, I'll catch them in crannies, I'll catch them in nooks. Then you don't have to read about in geography books. I'll catch them in countries that no one can spell, like in the country of Mada, Pata, Hell. In a country like that, if a hunter is clever, will hunt up some beasts that you never saw ever. I'll load up 5 boats with a family of jotes, whose feet are like cows but wear squirrel skin coats. And they sit down like the dogs, but voices like goats, except they can't sing in very high notes. And then I'll go down to the wilds of Nantucket and capture a family of lumps in a bucket. The people say, now I like a boy that keeps his new zoo, McGrew Zoo, is growing by leaps. He captures them wild, he captures them meek, he captures them slim, he captures them sleek. What do you suppose he will capture next week? I'll capture one tiny, I'll capture one cute, I'll capture a deer and no hunter can shoot. A deer that's so nice he could sleep in your bed if it weren't for those horns that he has on his head. And speaking of horns that are just a bit queer, I'll bring back a very odd family of deer. A mother, a father, 2 sisters and brother, whose horns are connected from one another. whose horns are so mixed they can't tell them apart. Can't they tell where they end? Can't tell where they start? Each deer is mighty muscled. He's never yet found if his horns are hers or the other way around. I'll capture them fat. I'll capture them scrawny. I'll capture a scragglefoot milligantani, a high-stepping animal fast as the wind from the blistering sands of the desert of Zin. This beast is a beast that the brave chieftains ride when they go too fast to find someplace to hide. A mulligatawny is fine for my zoo, and so is a chieftain. I'll bring back one too. In the far western part of southeast North Dakota, there's a very fine animal called the iota. But I'll capture one who is much finer in the northeastern part of South Carolina. When people see them, they will say, "Now by thunder, this new zoo, McGrew Zoo, is really a wonder." Most bees are quite friendly, but still in some land, some beasts are too dangerous to catch with bare hands. For those that are ugly and vicious and mean, I'll build that animal catching machine. It's rather expensive to build such a kit. With a hunter can never get bit. A zoo should have bugs, so I'll capture a feral whose legs are all gnarled up in a terrible snarl. Then I'll go out and I'll capture some chugs, some keen shooter, mean shooter, bean shooter bugs. I'll go to the African island of Yurka and bring back some chisel-top tuffa mazurka, type of canary with quite a tall throat. His neck was so long if he swallows an oat for breakfast his first day of April, they say. It has to go along a very long way. Then it gets in his stomach on the 15th of May. I'll get a very big bug who is very surprising. A fellow who has a propeller for rising and zooming around, making cross-country hops from Texas to Boston with only 2 stops. Now that's the sort of thing from a bug is just hops. And when I've caught him, then the next thing you know, I'll capture a wild tic-tac-toe. With X's that win and zeros that lose, they'll look mighty good in this zoo of McGrews. I'll bring a gusket, a gherkin, a gasket, and also a gooch from the wilds of Nanatasket. And 8 Persian princes will carry the basket. But what are their names? I don't know, so I don't ask it. In a cave of cartoon lives a beast called the Natch that no other hunter's been able to catch. He's hidden for years in this cave with a pout, and no one's been able to make him come out. But I'll coax him out with a wonderful meal that's cooked by my cooks in the cooker-mobile. They'll fix up a dish that's just his taste. 3 chicken croquettes made of library paste. They sprinkled with butternut shucks, pickled and spiced, then baked at 600 degrees in ice. It's mighty hard cooking to cook up such feast. That's how the new zoo, McGrew Zoo, gets beast. I'll go to the faraway mountains of Tabas, near the river of Usk. I'll bring back an obsk, a sort of a thingamabosk, who only eats rhubarb and corn on the cops. Then people will flock to my zoo in a mopsk. McGrew, they say, does wonderful jobs. His hunts with such vim, and he hunts them with vigor. His new zoo, McGrew Zoo, gets bigger and bigger. And speaking of birds, what's the Russian Poluski, whose head is redski and belly is blueski? I'll get one of them for my Zooski McGrewski. Then the whole town we ask, why this boy never sleeps? No keeping before forever what he keeps. There's no telling what that fellow will do. Then to cajole them, I'll sail to Katru and bring back a hunt them in jungles of hippo no hungus, and bring back a flock of wild bippo no bunkus. The bippo no bunkus from hippo no hungus are better than those down in dippo no dungus, and smarter than those out in nippo no nungus. And that's why I'll catch them in hippo no hungus. instead of those others in Nungus and Dungus, and people will say, when they see Bips bounding, the zookeeper, new keeper, simply astounding. He travels so far that you think he would drop. What do you suppose this young fellow will stop? Stop? Well, I should, but I won't until I capture the Fizza-ma-wizza-ma drill, the world's biggest bird from the island of Guark, who eats only pine trees and spits out the bark. And boy, when I get him to my park, the whole world will say, young Gru's made his mark. He's built a better zoo than the whole Noah's Ark. Those wonderful marvelous beasts that he chooses, having the greatest of all the McGruses. Wow, they'll all cheer. What the zoo must be worth, and the Goldar you see on the face of the earth. Yes, that's what I'd do, said young John McGrew. I'd make a few changes if I ran the zoo. Okay, that's the end of the story. Thanks for listening. See you later.